Sorry.
Okay, relax.
All right, thank you. I would like to call to order the October 1st, 2024 Columbia Borough Council Workshop. Could I have a roll call, please?
Council President Finn,
Here.
Councilperson Hoffman,
Here.
Councilperson Stahl,
Here.
Councilperson Bicker,
Here.
Councilperson Price,
Here.
Councilperson Murphy,
Here.
Councilperson Bernard,
Here.
Does anyone like to offer an invocation? If you'd like, please rise for a moment of silence. Eric, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcement of executive and information sessions, there were none. Are there any additions, deletions, or reorganization of the agenda needed? I'm not aware of any. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda as published? Second. I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy to approve the agenda as published. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Citizen comments, non-agenda items only. Is there anyone that wanted to address council? Yes, Frank?
I don't think that's on.
There you go. Hello. Yeah, what a difference. Well, but anyway, just attended a school board meeting. It's been many, many years since I was there. And it was interesting. They didn't have prayer and pledge allegiance before the meeting. Do you all know if that's the way it goes up there? They skipped over citizens' comment, so I didn't get a chance to comment on it. But I just thought, well, that's a plus for your meeting. So you'd be happy for that. Well, I guess my first issue is with Geezy or Price. Who are we acknowledging at the meeting?
It's easy,
Easy.
yes.
Was there a reason for the change?
A personal reason, yes.
Yes.
Her name changed.
I changed my name.
What
I changed my name.
is any other, going to happen with any other council person? Is there not one more that might?
This
I
is a
I don't
personal
think
reason,
that that's,
Frank. I don't know what you're asking.
Yeah,
What you're saying.
Hey, I'm a citizen of the borough, I'm a taxpayer, and I have a right to ask my questions, Heather. You can't tell me what to ask. And if you,
I'm not,
no,
I'm
but
just
if
saying,
you want to answer, you can answer. You don't have to answer, but you can't tell me what to say. We'll just straighten that out right now at the very beginning.
Who do you think's changed? What does it matter if someone
Well,
changes their name?
When I voted for a Price. Now, I didn't get a chance to vote for a Geezy. It could be the same person, but that's not the point. The point is it changed. She did it for personal reasons. That's up to her. I'm not questioning that. And I'm surprised you didn't comment on that. But that's her right to answer or not to answer. But you can't tell me what to ask.
I'm not telling you what to ask.
Okay.
I'm just saying I don't think that that's.
Well, I don't care what you think. I'm a citizen, I'm a taxpayer, and I just come here to voice my opinion, and I feel I have that right. And if I see a different name up there, I have a right to question it. Am I correct?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. The other thing, I'd like to welcome the borough manager. I wasn't here, sorry I missed the meeting. However, council hasn't been too good in picking borough managers in the past years. All you gotta do is check the record and you'll see that. So we have to kind of keep our eye on you a little bit so we know that, you're going to fit in. And again, that's me. That's what I'm saying. The other thing is, a couple meetings back, I announced that the gentleman that runs our CAD meeting, he stated at the meeting that he was going to be moving at the end of the year, and he would be vacating that position that he had on the board. Well, I learned at the past meeting that he's going to be moving, but he's going to be keeping that position. So I wanted to correct that. I was wrong in what I said. So I didn't want you to go on with that understanding. So I have some other comments, but I'm going to save them. The one person's not here that I want to acknowledge. So I thank you.
The mayor isn't here, Chief Brommer.
Just wanted to invite the public to an event on Saturday, October 12th. It's a gun safety event that's being held by the police department and an organization called Be Smart Gun Safety. So based in Lancaster County here. The event, once again, is Saturday, October 12th, and it's from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thank you.
At the Market House.
Thank you. At the Market House, yes. Yes, sir.
Well, when he said Market House, he answered my question. There's not going to be no shooting, or we ain't going to get a chance to use the guns, or not. Okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I need some of that training.
Absolutely. Firing guns in the market house would not be safety. Yeah, that's what not to do. Workshop items. The first item to discuss is discuss a bonus payment for Jake Graham for serving as interim borough manager. Several requests to have this added to the agenda as it involves public funds.
So I know I made a request. I believe when Jack served as interim manager, we gave Jack a bonus, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I know you put a lot in this time, but we asked Jake to take that responsibility, and I do believe you should be compensated for it.
Yes. He did take a lot. He did took a lot on.
He did. So I don't know what that dollar amount is. I just think we need to discuss it, and maybe for the next meeting, we can vote on it.
I have a suggestion for possible, at least the framework for the dollar amount. I took the difference between the borough manager pay and the public works payment, and then did it by monthly. And then the difference between what the borough manager gets paid and public works paid, and then multiplied that by 2, because he was there for 2 months, and it comes out to $2,876.
Yes.
I was just curious what the formula was for Jack.
I think we kind of did sort of the same
So
thing.
we did that.
Not really, no. I think we just picked a number.
Oh,
Really? Well, let's pick at 2,700.
it doesn't have to be that, it's just,
No,
I think it's like a framework
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having a formula and following that would be advantageous.
Consistent.
Consistent.
So can you explain that again?
So I took the difference between the borough manager pay and the public works pay. ahead and got it down to monthly, what each one makes a month.
Right.
And then took that difference and multiplied it by 2, because Jake is there for 2 months as the interim manager.
Actually, it's more like 3,
Yeah.
because it was all of July, all of August, and almost all of September.
Well, 3 then, I crossed it out, it was like 4,700 and something, or we can figure it out. I mean, it was close to 5,000.
So that basically comes out to be just the borough manager's salary for 3 months.
Yes.
That's really what you're saying.
Yes. Mhm.
Sounds reasonable.
And I think that's what we do Jack as well.
So when Jack did it though, did other managers pick up other duties?
Yeah, they all kind of did. I mean,
Okay.
They do, and that's kind of expected, but at the end of the day, there's one person who's responsible.
So for 3 months, it's 4,314.
Yeah.
So you know that it was 3 months. It was 3 months.
yeah, it was about 3 months, and I think it was like 5,000.
4 or 5.
So you came up with 4?
4314 for the three.
That sounds reasonable, I like that formula,
Mhm.
for the concept anyway.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
Right.
Won't have to do it again for another decade.
Hope not.
Hopefully.
You almost got a chuckle
I
on
know, that's what we thought last time.
We'll ask Frank about that.
Yeah.
He's smiling. He's smiling anyway.
Yeah. He's got his eye on you. All right, I will put that on the agenda for next week. Yes, Frank? Yes.
No.
No? This is a workshop.
What is the salary of the highway manager now?
I didn't write that down. I probably have it.
Yeah, it's 84 something, and I can't get into this year. So I don't know.
So when the public works director left, we increased his salary. I don't know how much we increased it to. He picked up the borough, he picked up the public works director's job too, is the way I understood it. I could be wrong. But Jake, the guy that's in there.
Yeah.
So when Watchcom left, now we didn't have a public works director, which we probably didn't need because Jake seems to be handling that job.
Well,
You know.
he is the public works manager.
Absolutely. So I'm just saying, so who took his job?
He did his job.
He did his job.
He just took on additional duties.
So he combined the 2 into 1. We had 2 salaries. It was probably over close to $200,000 between the 2 of them. So he took over that salary too. And it's good, but just for the record, to let the new manager know, I had suggested Norm Leisky is retired. He was a borough manager here in the borough. He's a good friend of mine, and everybody knows that, which I don't care. But I suggested getting him in here and kind of fill in that position, not knowing he would take it. He probably wouldn't have took it anyway. But council didn't even blink an eye. They didn't even consider a phone call or nothing. So this was their decision. So along with that, when you give the public works director these other duties, shouldn't the fee been talked about then? Why now? Usually when you hire anybody, you always talk about what you're going to pay them. You didn't put the borough manager in here and say, well, we'll talk about your salary later on. But you did that with this position. And why'd you do that like that?
We did it that way last time too.
And so what? 2 wrongs don't make a right.
No, but I think the manager was stepping in without the expectation of compensation, and that's why he stepped in, that's why Jake stepped in. But now we are saying that we believe he deserves extra compensation for stepping in there. So that's what we are talking about.
And you're sure it wasn't talked about before, but not brought out?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, all right, just asking. Okay, if I got anything else, I'll ask when it comes up next week. Thank you.
And the next one, we have the review draft of the nuisance ordinance. I'm gonna let Kelly and Steve drive this discussion.
Okay, so basically, this is the first iteration the council is seeing of the new nuisance ordinance. As you can see, it's a bit lengthy, 14 pages. But as we said, the goal at the beginning of this was to try to pull other sections of the code into what we felt was should be considered as part of the nuisance ordinance. So a lot involved here. I'd like to thank Paula and Steve, and of course our previous borough manager for the input they put into this. This has been going on for what, 4 months at least, Paula?
A year.
But so the main point I'd like to see tonight is, I hope everyone had time to look at it. If you didn't, you can just peruse through it and see if there's something that was missed. If there's something that's really out of line. There's always something we could add here or there, but there's certainly, Steve and I talked about that, like the quick tickets that, for example, that should really be left alone and just maybe just reference it in here as needed. But so I'm open for any comments. And Steve, if you want to add anything you want to add, or Paul, you as well.
The one thing I'd like to add is duty to service notice, which is B. Trying to think, see what section it is.
What page is it?
Section 1B, page 5. I will go on to that. And there may be more parts to this that also make this reference. Right here, duty to serve notice, it shall be the duty of the borough council to serve or cause to be served. Is this something we want to bring in front of council each time? I'm just thinking of timing. If we have a nuisance in here, is it something that you want to delegate to the codes department, police department, something other than coming to full council? And I'm just looking purely at timing, how long it would take. Obviously, if we have a nuisance, we want to get it taken care of as rapidly as possible.
Receive
I'm
borough manager and appropriate staff or something like that, or
Something like that, or it could be, it shall be the duty of borough council, or, those they delegate, or however you want to word it that way.
Wouldn't this be a codes issue?
That's
Yeah.
what-
that one.
I mean, to me, if it's violating an ordinance, then it doesn't need to go the whole way up
no.
to a business meeting to be addressed.
I agree, and that's why I brought it up here, because I think the intention is to use this in conjunction with the quick tickets. If the quick ticket is not working, but maybe not, maybe that's.
Can I ask,
That,
Paula? This seems more like a nuisance violation as far as condemnation or removal of the tenant.
correct,
This part here.
correct.
So how many of them do you do a year? Maybe, what's that?
Oh my, I'd have to go back and look at the reports if you want a number.
If it's 24 or less, it's 2 a month, roughly. Maybe that should go in front of council, because you're asking somebody to leave, or demanding somebody to leave, or removing somebody from a property.
The only thing that I would maybe point out, Paula was called out tonight by the police department.
Yes.
Because of an issue at a residence
Yes,
and had to take action.
yes.
And to Steve's point, I think there's not always that immediate or direct contact with council to make those immediate decisions. I was going to bring up the same, because Borough Council, Borough Solicitor is referenced throughout this document. And what I'm used to is this disruptive conduct code specifies throughout it, police action, code action. You know, it's those entities, those departments that are tasked with following through and ensuring that the code itself is upheld and enforced.
Makes sense.
If you look at the page 6,
Yeah.
C2, subsection 2, the Borough Council may direct the removal, repair, alteration, and that's throughout here. The paragraph prior, the Borough Solicitor may assume charge of prosecution. Well, our staff, police officers, code officers, they actually prosecute cases, you know, before the district magistrate. We're not always going to be in a position to work forward, right? Having to call out the Borough Solicitor, you know, to court every time. So I'm not sure why that was put in on it. Steve, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I just wanted to support what you're saying.
No,
Kelly, are you making notes on this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Because I was like, oh, wait a minute, we're gonna be
No.
taking notes.
That's what I'm making notes.
So that's okay.
So my only question as a whole on this is, do we see this as able to coexist with a quick ticket ordinance? Because everything in here is the quick ticket things, and to me, that it's just muddying the waters. If we have the nuisance ordinance plus the quick ticket, I mean, I think, you know, I've been giving a lot of thought to this, and the quick ticket ordinance, when it was put in, was done as a good thing to get the immediate action, and I believe at the beginning, it had that desired results. And I think now we've come full circle to the point where the quick ticket ordinance is not getting the desired results,
Right.
as evidenced by the need to put in the 3 strikes on it, and the more recent addition to the escalating fees on the quick ticket ordinance.
Right.
I don't believe that it's serving its intended purpose. So is it time to repeal that quick ticket ordinance in favor of the nuisance ordinance, where we can, because with this, I'm just making examples here, but because with the nuisance ordinance, someone has high grass, they're going to get the notice, your grass is high, you have the days to resolve it. They're not, so then the people that get upset because, oh, I was in the hospital for a week, or my lawnmower broke down and I didn't get to it right away and I got a ticket, this is a way to kind of give them a little bit of leeway. Whereas if we have someone that is not going to comply with a quick ticket, you know, I'm thinking about some of these absentee landlords and so forth, or people that don't care and they continue just to pile trash up. This gives us a way to immediately take care of it and say, you've not done it, and the fines start immediately. I don't know. What do you think?
Is
One second.
everything that you could get a quick ticket for covered in this nuisance law?
No,
I don't think so.
no.
And you would have to,
What is not covered?
And this is just a draft, but, you know,
But
Steve and I had, you said about the quick ticket, boy, we've had a lot of conversation on, you know, between just Steve and I and Evan as well, that if something needs to be done with the process, because as it is now, the 3 steps is just, it's dragging things out way too long. And then you have, you have the appeal board, the council that, and if they don't like that decision, then they can go to the district justice.
Right.
It's, we talked about the way it used to be where the first appeal would go directly to the borough manager. Like,
Well, the issue with that is, and the reason that we instituted the appeal board with the borough manager was because then you had the person writing the ticket. It was then appealed only to that person's employer. And it's not completely fair and we didn't see it as fair. That's why we put in, to have members of the council here. Because that puts the manager in a position of, do I uphold what my employee said? Or, it puts them in an awkward position. This way it takes the pressure off because there's 3 people. So, Sharon?
we still have that 10-day issue, but we're trying to figure out a way to, if you don't get together.
Well, yeah.
But you don't want to extend it to 30 days, because then you're really dragging it along.
Sharon Lintner. I just wanted to sort of remind everybody that Evan, our borough solicitor, said just this past summer that the quick ticket system was unworkable, I think was the word he used. So if he's giving you that advice that it's not working, I'm wondering, like you just said, why aren't we getting rid of it then, or changing it, I should say, somehow?
Right.
Thank you.
That's, to me, that seems like, I thought the whole point of having the nuisance ordinance was to basically replace the quick ticket ordinance, because I don't see it being able to coexist, especially if they're covering some of the same activities, some of the same issues.
Thank you.
Yes, Frank?
Glad the quick ticket come up. The way I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you will, but if someone doesn't agree with a quick ticket, they can appeal it. They come to an appeals board, which I know nothing about, other than I talked to some people that went before the board, and I kind of asked them a little bit what had happened. A couple of issues with that. Who does make the final decision at the appeal board, and who is on the appeals board? The present one we have right now.
The appeals board is a unanimous decision. So if there's 3 people, 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I want to know who's them 3 people.
Or the borough manager.
And,
Todd.
okay, so it's 3 of us, okay. Is there a reason that, I don't know if the members of council know the outcome of these meetings, or is there a reason they're not made public? You probably don't want them public, but shouldn't they be made public so either people can attend, or you get something in your package so you know the outcome of these? If you see the board addressing these and saying, no, we were wrong, then that would have been more of a reason to do something with it. I mean, if you see that when they come there to appeal something and they were right, and the council or the board, the appeals board was wrong, then it would come up sooner, and you should have done something about this more sooner. I agree, you need to do something with it. But I also would like to know the outcome of some of these. I know nothing outside of, if I happen to know somebody that got a ticket and appealed it, that's the only way I know anything about it. Maybe it's none of my business, but I still think it should have come out to the public.
I mean,
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, we don't publish lists of who gets tickets. We don't
Right.
publish lists of who pays them, or, I mean, I look at it like like a speeding ticket. We don't get notified when someone appeals a speeding ticket or pleads not guilty. They go to the district justice.
You got a point.
I look at it kind of the same way.
You got a point. But I just feel, if the board knew the outcome of some of these hearings, they would say, wait a minute, we got to look at this. Now, I don't know how this come up while you're looking at it now. Is there a reason that you decided to redo it now?
Well, like they said, we've been working on this for close to a year.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. My apologies.
Trying, because basically it's looking through our whole code and pulling out all of the things that would be considered a nuisance, to put it into one place to be enforced uniformly in this one place. And then what it does is it gives us a better tool so that we can say, it gets fixed or we start fining. And it allows us to assess fine. I mean, we could do this and put in there, daily up to $600 a day for, if you're not remedying the situation. So for some of these things that we end up taking months to do, we can immediately crack down on them. I mean, one of the biggest complaints we hear is we've had this situation and it's taken so long. I mean, I know when I got on council, there was a situation that had been happening for several years, and I followed through to make sure, I followed that process because I wanted to learn what was going on. And even it had been going on for a while before I had gotten on council. And while I was here, it was probably 2 years into my first term until that situation was finally resolved.
Wow.
And that was because they get cited, they have so long, they go to the district justice, then they would just keep going, and we would keep fighting them, and then they would go to the district justice, and it kept happening, and it was over 2. So I'm thinking it was probably 3 years till we got that resolved.
So the way it is now, they come to the appeals board, and if the resident is not happy with the answer, he goes to the JP.
That has
Am
not
I,
happened since we started the appeals board.
you say it did or it
That
didn't?
has not
Oh, it
happened.
didn't, okay. Oh, he's always come to, all right, very good. I'm just trying to understand it.
And part of the part with the appeals board, when we instituted that, the appeal fee was lowered because the appeal fee used to be $100 to appeal a $25 quick ticket. And that's not right either.
I remember when you lowered that.
So it was dissuading people from appealing it.
Okay,
So we figured we'd lower it to the cost of the ticket, the same way it is if you appeal like a parking ticket or whatever. It's the cost of the ticket to appeal it. That's what we did. And everyone says, oh, we're going to be flooded with appeals. You're going to be flooded with appeals, but we were not.
We have about 2 to 3 on average per month. And I would also say that we probably award the appeal a third of the time. 2/3 of the time we uphold the ticket. A third of the time we award the appeal because of a reason that's fair. One of the things that's a benefit of the appeals board is that we see where there are shortcomings in the code and how we enforce it. For instance, I was glad to see that we have a line in here stating that an appeals hearing must be scheduled within 10 to 45 days. We got caught on a 10-day mandatory appeal date needing to be set, and we missed it. They called it out, they were awarded. So I think that the appeals board is good for that reason. That is a good thing that comes before council.
Mhm. That
Was implemented into this document that we're looking at right here because of an appeals hearing. I wonder why you say it's not working. Quick tickets aren't working. We get very few appeals. I don't know how many quick tickets are written. I mean, I do. I see the reports, hundreds. I can't give you the number off the top of my head. It's a lot, but
2 or 3 a month isn't that many. And most of them have, a third of them have really good reasons, right?
Well, it's not working in a sense that it's not stopping the behavior. In the case that I cited, the issue that took 3 years to get resolved.
Was that an outlier? I mean, I don't think that that's typical. Though.
Well, there's one now. Go up to Blunston Street, the 800 block of Blunston Street. There is a boat blocking an alley, and it has been there for months. There is enormous amounts of junk beside that house, and they've been cited. But we have to go through our process. So meanwhile, we're going through our process, and it's going to take months, and the neighbors have to sit there and they have to see all that crap.
So we shorten the process.
So
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
How often do quick tickets work, though? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It sounds to me like sometimes there's issues with the process that seem to take too long.
Right.
And they may, but I don't know if that's a reason to abolish the quick tickets.
But if it's conflicting with this,
Right.
we have to pick one or the other. You can't have conflicting parts of your code. So either we're keeping those things in a quick ticket, and we're not going to do a nuisance ordinance, and then we're just going to keep dealing with those outliers. Whereas this allows us to deal with those things immediately, start those fines immediately, get those problem properties cleaned up, or take that on so that we don't have those outliers. And it also gives the people that may have a reason, like right now, I know my grass is higher than 11 inches. Please don't have that come up tomorrow. But look how much rain we've had.
And we've heard instances
and
like
we've
that.
had,
And we've,
right.
yes, and
Having this would give me cut, and I would get that and be like, you know what, I know I gotta cut the grass, it's been raining.
I'm for whatever works, right? I'm not arguing for one or the other.
Yeah.
But I understand the mechanism for quick tickets. I mean, I'm an integral part of that. I don't understand the mechanism how this might work. So right now, one of the coast personnel, staff go out, they see something, write a ticket. It's a thing. How is it going to work if we get rid of that system? Does that make sense? Does the question make sense? And how does it make it quicker? What problems does it resolve? That mechanism.
I think, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. For the most part, the quick ticket does work. Sometimes, just like in any other place, there's certain landlords, certain people who know how to quote unquote play the game. You know what I'm saying? They can just keep appealing and just drag it on. That's how you get these things to drag on 2-3 years. So, one of the intents of this is to try to find a way to, even though the outliers don't happen that often, when they do, they are the ones all the time.
Well, do we create something that instead of defining repeated, the right word, chronic behavior, is that the right word? Chronic? Yeah. As a nuisance, what if there's a threshold where the nuisance is no longer a nuisance? It's a different problem, which is handled completely different. Because I don't know if quick tickets aren't working. People are paying them. They write a lot, and people pay them. We get few second and third strikes in the deals that I see anyway. Very few appeals, and I think people respect them, and I think they're pretty fair. I get them, and I pay them. For me, that's for sure. I don't like them. So is there something that kicks in once a problem becomes chronic that's no longer treated like a nuisance? It's something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So I'm quite disappointed in this whole thing. First of all, we spent a lot of money on it. These copies are current ordinance we already have on the quick ticket policy. There are some changes, but I've been being told for the last year that this is going to correct landlord problems. There's nothing in here about that. Nothing. So in my opinion, this is a complete waste of time. Waste of money, waste of solicitor, waste of our time. We've had people come in here 3 times now as residents, tax-paying residents, who complain about landlords. And every time we're told by Evan that I'm writing a nuisance order. I'm writing a new nuisance ordinance. Nothing's mentioned in there.
And I thought we were, along with that, I thought we were going to define a slumlord. So that we have the teeth to take care of that. I honestly, I agree with you. I was
I'm
disappointed.
totally disappointed. I mean, this is just a waste of time.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same as the quick ticket.
Right.
And I was thinking, not only did Evan say it, but we also told the residents that.
Yes.
It's going to change once this nuisance, and I feel like, I just don't feel like my word is being backed up.
Nope.
Paul, you feel this on a daily basis. I'd like to hear your input and your feelings on this as well.
My opinion on the 3-step that we, I think, started, I'm gonna say 3 or so years ago.
For what? 3 steps for what?
The 25, 50, 100 for the same violation quick ticket.
Okay.
I think that has, from the very beginning, been an issue. Because all we're doing is prolonging the compliance of what we want these people to do. So, I was admin at the time. I didn't have a voice to speak up or make any kind of decisions in that matter. But I see that step as a hindrance.
Then
What?
we get rid of the 3 steps and we say, the quick ticket is your notice, and after that,
So my
$500
thought,
notice of violation.
Right.
there's a couple different thoughts here. My thought was then we go back to the one quick ticket. And yeah, $25, and then Steve and I have had this conversation too. $25 is sometimes nothing to a lot of people, but you get the elderly, that's a lot when you're talking about a fixed income. That part of it was Steve's thought process. Mine was, and we have to take all that into consideration. Mine was, let's just do a $50 quick ticket to try and get the point across. If we go to this, which it doesn't sound like we're going to, and eliminate the quick tickets completely, here's the issue. When you send a notice of violation, it's $9 a piece for certified mail. So now we're talking it's going to cost a lot. So I don't recommend doing away with the quick ticket, but we definitely maybe should go back to how it was done, which is a once. Yeah.
Once and done.
And the other thing with that too is recently when a quick ticket goes out, the first one, in my opinion, is a warning. The second one, which is a $50 fine, then a notice of violation gets sent with that. I'm not waiting until a third.
No.
Because in between each quick ticket, they're given 2 weeks to comply. So we're talking 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
If you have high grass or trash sitting out, you're a poor neighbor. And then from there, then you go to an NOV where you give them another 2
Another 8
weeks.
weeks.
So this process that we currently do does not work effectively.
Why are we giving 2 weeks? Can we make it 1 week? I mean, we get 7 days. to
Because
pay a
of
parking
snail
ticket.
mail. Because of snail mail. They're given 2 weeks to comply with anything that goes out when it's referencing quick ticket violations.
So then we say the quick ticket once, and then the NOV, $500 NOV. And
So if I can just put a little bit into there, we're almost out of quick tickets as far as stuff that we have here. So we're looking to if we go with this process to reorder ones, we can make changes. It would be a good time to do it, is what I'm saying, if you decided to go that route. The one thing that I didn't like about this ordinance, which were many, but the least amount of fine is $100. And if we start right with that, we have a lot of residents that cannot afford $100. And I don't want to put them in a situation where they're paying $100 and then they're not getting their medicine or their food or their, so we need to keep that. We need to keep that to where it's controlled. I like the $25 quick ticket. It's a notice, it's a wake up, but maybe we put on that quick ticket. If it's not done by such and such a time, you will be fined $500. Something of, or however we do that, or make a small part of our ordinance that gives us the authority to do that. And if they want to appeal that, sure, then they can, they can appeal that as well. But I mean, I think it's going to wake some people up to like, you're not going to get 15 more quick tickets. So I talked to some of these landlords that would prefer to pay their quick tickets than to talk to their tenants.
They're the ones that's dragging out.
You know,
Another thought I had was, can we put a time limit on and then fix the problem and charge the owner?
We do have that currently in our ordinance.
So reduce the time frame. I mean, whether it's high grass where it could cause mice or whatever, or it's trash buildup, or it's cars in the yard. That's stuff that we can contract somebody to do, and just pass that cost on them. But that takes care of the nuisance to the neighbors.
And then we charge the landlord for,
The other.
okay.
Doesn't guarantee you're gonna get paid, you might wind up with a lien or something like
And,
that.
and we still have, we have
One more, you're
liens
gonna get another lien.
already.
Always.
Yeah,
we do have to watch out for a rental property versus an owner occupied property.
Why is that?
Well, now you're getting into trespassing, going onto somebody's property.
I'm not saying you own anybody's property. Not even for rental use.
well, how are you gonna clean up, how are you gonna mow grass if you don't go onto their property?
Oh.
You can't mow grass by drone.
We can. Turn upside down. That's true.
You see Eric in the alley with the remote control.
That's true. I see what you're saying.
But I
But
kind of think that this nuisance ordinance was something that was being driven by the attorney to council versus council to the attorney.
Oh, yeah.
We need to figure out what we want to do and have the attorney draft it according to our needs, not the other way around.
Well, and the other part that I don't see in here along with the landlord stuff is, we wanted a way to, there's, first of all, there's nothing in here about, the 3 strikes, which I think is necessary. That needs to be in there.
2 strikes. No, just 1.
And also, I was hoping that we would have something in here that, if a landlord has X number of violations within a certain amount of time, they lose their rental license for all of their properties. Because,
Discussion too.
right, because then you have someone who shall remain nameless with 86 properties that may have a stack of quick tickets like this. He's going to lose his rental registration for all of, he or she is going to lose their rental registration for all of those properties, and that is their income.
Well, let me ask, because it has been some years since I did it in the codes department. Are you still finding the
Yeah.
resident or the tenant?
now we find the
Or are you going to the homeowner or the landlord?
The
or the tenant?
homeowner and the property management company get mailed the same thing.
But it is the,
Because we were having
ultimately,
some issues before trying to give it to the tenant, and the tenant was like,
it is ultimately the responsibility of the property owner to pay that ticket.
Do you feel that if you gave them a first quick ticket, say the 86 properties, you gave them their first quick ticket, and then it went right into a $500 fine every time, Dad,
And after 3 strikes,
I got you.
the rental registration is gone.
Yeah, because the problem is, what we find right now is some of the landlords pass the quick ticket cost onto the tenants. So they're escaping everything anyway.
Right.
Well,
There's
and
no place to
honestly, it is the tenant's responsibility because they're the one causing the problem, so they should pay the quick ticket.
Well, it's a landlord's
No, no,
responsibility.
But it's the landlord's responsibility to make sure they have a good tenant. But the reality is, if I don't mow my grass, I'm the homeowner, I pay for my ticket.
Oftentimes in appeals, both come,
Right,
the landlord and the tenant.
yeah.
Well, and the landlords are being made aware when I meet with them, especially the new ones, that they are ultimately responsible and they need to be the ones to communicate with their tenants. What they do with that ticket, if they pass it on, and 95% of them do, to the tenant, I tell them it is still necessary to communicate these issues so that they are not reoccurring. I see a little bit of a difference with that, which is, you know, I will say this too. I was approached last week, and I've talked about this for probably the past year of doing this, and it will probably happen in the next few months, is meeting with landlords. So these are all, you know, what we can decide on how we're going to handle things moving forward, the sooner the better. There's property management people that want to meet along with landlords.
There was talk about years ago, there was talk about one of the residents here, I think Mr. Mealy, was talking about a landlord, like association, I don't know, for lack of a better words. But the landlords get together and they talk about problems with it. And I think actually Justin Rule mentioned something about that not too long ago either. He wanting to even head something like that he would be willing to.
Well, I know there's a group of them talking because I was approached asking how I felt about it. And I said, I
They're
told
already
you
doing it?
before. I'm sorry.
You're already doing it, you say?
They are,
unhappy.
Amongst themselves.
no, they want to meet
Good.
with me.
That'd be
So I told them, you get together what information. In the meantime, I'm going to do the same. And that's what we're going to do. So I think that it will be, and I have all their emails. I would send out a bulk email.
Can you send me an invitation to those meetings?
Certainly. I hope it's only one. It's going to be one with landlords and
Yeah.
and property management companies. So they're getting a list together. You know, the person that contacted me is a local realtor in regards to it. So he's been out, several of them have been out and wanting to do this. So
I know we can't mandate it, but when you meet with them, could you please strongly encourage them to put in their lease that renter's insurance is a requirement?
yes, and I can do that.
We
When I
can't
meet,
mandate that, but I believe that it's
They
high
can.
time that
yeah,
they can
Yeah.
stipulate that in their lease, and it needs to be done.
I do already tell the ones I meet with.
It's
So,
cheap.
yeah, it is. It is.
Yes, Sharon.
I was interested in what you said about the kind of revoking their rental registration if they keep.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens to the tenants at that point?
That's what we would have to,
Because that could be a lot of people.
Well,
Yeah.
so
That-
this is
I mean-
where I think we have the opportunity to clean up the landlords. If we put the onus on them, in other words, if they lose a license and they have 10 tenants they have to go to a hotel for 2 weeks or whatever, it's on them
It's on them.
to pay for that.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
But then they have to relocate.
We could
I
put
mean-
that in the thing that,
Right.
it is up to the landlord to arrange.
So they would have to leave if they,
And they wouldn't necessarily even have to leave, but then they would be charged with operating a rental without a license
No,
if it's revoked at that point.
no,
No?
no. No, because
How would you force people to leave though?
condemn them. If they are not a licensed rental unit,
Yeah, can't be there.
you can condemn that property.
that's what I was thinking,
I
condemn.
don't agree with a blanket rejection like that, or what do you call it? Delicensing, what would you call it? Revoke?
Why not?
So let's say I'm a bad landlord. I have 10 properties.
Mhm.
I have 9 really great tenants who are great neighbors, who've been with me forever, and I have one really bad actor. Made a mistake, got the wrong person in there. I'm afraid to get rid of them. I'm making mistakes by letting them stay. I hit that threshold, that rule kicks in, you revoke my license, that bad actor has to move, but it doesn't affect the other 9 good actors. More than likely, the cause of a revocation? A revocation would be because of the people within that property, that parcel, that unit.
So, but here would be my argument. So,
Why punish 9 others?
but my argument to that is, why are you not punishing the one?
Well,
So by you not punishing that one,
and I agree with that.
you are opening up those other 9 to be punished as well.
But see, I agree with that. I have to pay the price as a bad landlord for that property, and those bad tenants have to pay the price for being bad tenants. But it doesn't put 9 other families inconvenience them and have them pay a price that they didn't earn. This isn't like basic training.
Okay, so to answer that, here's what I came up with back in November. 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Create a definition for a slumlord.
I remember you talking about this. Believe it or not. I remember this.
And then what you do is you make an ordinance that does the blanket withdrawal to only slumlords.
Right.
So if you're not identified as a slumlord, but you're in a violation, 3-strike violation, just that one property gets hit. But if you're identified as a slumlord because you have multiple properties with multiple violations continuously, we put the status of slumlord status on you, then that goes to another bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And in that bracket, we can just decide to strip everything.
I would have to say there's a very high threshold for me to have to force some low-income folks who need housing, who are doing the best they can.
It's not.
And they're renting from a slumlord who, because that's what they can afford when they're trying.
So they burn up because the slumlord didn't follow the.
I'm not.
The
What
ordinances.
what I'm saying is the other 9 with the properties maybe are maintained and there's good tenants.
But if you're a slumlord, you're not going to be termed a slumlord unless all 10 of your, or
Or
8
multiple.
of your 10 properties are bad. And I'm
Right.
thinking about the specific ones that we all know right now would be termed a slumlord.
Right.
And the 86 properties that he owns, I am telling you, there's probably 90% of them that are an issue. And they are repeatedly an issue.
So here's the
And
thing.
when you have a 3-strike and he kicks someone out, the next people that come in there, they don't last more than 6
Yeah, they don't
months
last.
because they are also an issue and
They
the
just
problems
move
just continue.
They just move around from property to property.
So
Right.
you can legally identify someone, put that label
Yes.
on
If
someone.
if you have a definition.
If you have the definition, you define it as a slumlord.
So Todd, in the past, I've seen doing what you had suggested, of just putting it on one property and leaving the other 9 alone. We did that when I first started with a lot of condemnations, and it turned out that the landlords were utilizing that to get their tenants out. So instead of doing it the correct way and the right way of doing an eviction, they were asking for me to condemn their properties. So that's not what our job is and what we're looking at doing. So
And we also have landlords that say they have a multi-unit and they want three of their 5 tenants out. They'll have us condemn 3 of those units and keep 2 of them perfectly fine to kick out those 3 people. I mean, we've had we have instances where, you have this multi-unit and only unit A and B are condemned and the rest are okay.
Well, either way,
Sharon?
when you're talking about really hitting them in their accounts, I understand what you're saying about only one property versus all 10. But if they lose all 10, then, look at the renter's rights. You can just go down to the local,
Right out there on the wall.
yeah, they have their rights. They go to a hotel, he has to pay that, not them, he has to pay that. And the thing, but no, I'm saying, but the last time we really had a big amount of success all at once, when Steve was still here last time, that was our codes is, we had one landlord that got so tired of us going in and hammering with fines, hit them in their wallet. Either they're losing their income or they're getting sick and tired of $500 fine. He came into a land bank meeting and I thought, I have 50 some properties and he wanted the land bank to buy them all. I was like, that's not what we're here for, but and he's the one that turned around, and the guy who has the 86 now got a lot of his.
He hasn't cleaned up his
assume-
act at all.
I assume if a person has multiple properties and they are quote unquote a slumlord, they'll probably wind up having more than one revoked. And that will hit hard. But the properties that aren't revoked, that don't need to be revoked, it does not affect the people who are living there. I think it's totally unfair to punish good people because of bad actors, even though they both rent from a bad landlord. I think
Yeah,
people live where they
I
can
can
live,
agree with
where they
that.
can afford, and
I just
they don't interview the landlords, right?
we just need to put in some fail safes that, when they lose their rental license for that particular property, that they're not gonna get it back.
There you go.
Therefore, they're
Make it
gonna
hurt.
have to
Not-
sell
not
that
hurt.
property.
One property hurts. You're still paying a mortgage on it.
And it could be, obviously that property that has some problems. That's why we did what we did in the first place. So we're gonna wanna get the tenants out of there. And then at that point, we're just not gonna let them rent it again.
See, I say it's a business. Okay? You gotta take the emotions out of it. It's a business. And the fact is that if we make the penalty proper and just, then the landlord has to police themselves. We don't have to police them. Right now, they're making millions of dollars, causing the chief in his department work, causing Paula in her department work, causing everybody else in here headache. The street department cleaning up all the time. It's a complete nuisance to everybody.
All 80,
To the school district.
all 80 properties are causing problems.
I'm not talking about one person.
I'm just saying all 10, all 20, all 30, all 40, all 80. If half of them are bad, revoke half of them. It still hurts, no matter what. Any number that you revoke hurts.
I don't know if this is true or not, and maybe I need more details, but there was a renter who said that if her landlord would not do the work that needed to be done in her apartment, that she was told she could put that rent money aside in a trust.
Yes.
Now, what if you have 10 properties and 2 of them need to be revoked, but the other 8, instead of them giving the landlord the money for the rent, they can stay in their property, but the money goes into a trust, and when the landlord cleans up his act, he gets his rent.
No.
I mean, if that's a real.
I mean, they can do that now.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I don't
but if
think
they're,
recognize it.
I'm all about the revocation. So, I'm all about that. I just think it needs to be fair to the
It is.
renters.
No, hold on a second. It is fair. It's, I'm not saying any landlord. You have 2, 3, 4 properties in Columbia, 5, 10 properties in Columbia. One property is a problem. It's not a problem. But when Paula has to fill out 30 tickets in one day for the exact same landlord, that's a problem.
And revoke those 30 properties.
No,
That will fix the problem, I'm telling you.
well,
I don't think
so you revoke those 30, and then tomorrow, when they write 30 more tickets for the same one, so then we revoke those 30, and in 3 days, we're up to 90 properties, so then we've revoked them all anyway.
But it was on a case-by-case basis.
But if you have a clause where you identify somebody as a bad actor in Columbia, a bad landlord, then you got trouble.
But when we take it off the property, just take it personally.
Just come on up, and then you can jump in.
Personally to the landlord, where if we deem him as a slumlord, we are not going to renew his license next
Now,
year.
that,
No,
No, because you have to give him an opportunity to clean himself up.
it has to be instant.
The definition of slumlord, I think we talked about that before with the solicitor. I think that's more of a slang term. How would you, well, as I recall, he didn't seem to think that we could actually be able to use that word. Because that's, and it is rather derogatory, so you'd have to have a pretty good definition of what you think that is. What makes that person a slumlord would have to be defined pretty.
So I copied the definition. I think it was from Cincinnati. Cincinnati has a slumlord definition.
Okay.
And it says a slumlord or slum landlord is a slang term for a landlord who attempts to maximize profit by minimizing spending on property maintenance, often in deterring neighborhoods, and to tenants that they can intimidate. Severe housing shortages allow slumlords to charge higher rents, and when they can get away with it, to break rental laws. So, yes, slumlord is a slang, but you put a definition behind it, so it's no longer slang, it's a defined word. Then, they use that defined word, slumlord, to identify an individual or a business that has negative practices and negative effects on the community. Because not all landlords are bad.
Well, and I agree with you. I'm not trying to disagree. I'm just trying to feel how we're going to get a definition in there that it has legal weight behind it. If
Philadelphia has a definition, Pittsburgh has a definition, Cincinnati has a definition, and I think I use Cincinnati's. Detroit, surprisingly, has that definition, but I don't think they use it.
But it would have to be, it would have to be substantive, like, someone is identified as a slumlord when X, Y, and Z.
Right,
Mhm.
We have to define that X, Y, and Z before we can attach that term to them.
right.
Okay. And just to go back just for 1 second to the quick ticket, I know you're off that topic, but I was trying to think about what Frank had said, and I think in the financials, sometimes we can see who appealed and won because we have a record of them getting money back. So I think, and their name is there. It doesn't tell what the quick ticket was for, but I think you could see maybe how many, in a month or whatever. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't agree with reporting quick tickets, like Frank asked about, but the bad side of that is I hear people regularly say, I got a ticket for my house not painted. And so-and-so down the street's house wasn't painted either. They don't know that 2 or 3 homes in that block may have got tickets.
Mhm.
Same as high grass. You know, if I got a ticket for high grass, right away, I'm looking at all my neighbors.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But I don't know if my neighbors got tickets or not.
Mhm.
So we try to publish the stats so you can kind of see, hey, there's
How many?
right,
But you don't know who.
but we don't publish
Right,
names
right.
like that, which kind of goes both ways. But that's kind of intrusive, I think.
Well, and also I wanted to just thank Steve for what he said about the $100 and how that would impact people on fixed incomes, and they may not be able to pay something that they really do need. I think we got to remember Columbia has a great deal of poverty, and we need to not try to overburden those people. So, thank you.
I think that, in my opinion, looking over this ordinance, I think that from the discussion tonight, we need to seriously look at overhauling our quick ticket ordinance and keep that. And then also look at having a slumlord ordinance, just a separate landlord something. Maybe we already have an ordinance for landlords and we add that to that portion.
Right.
But so that it's clear to the public and anyone looking through the code where things lie. Now, as far as the quick tickets, I was just thinking, I think that there's a lot of, the ones we're talking about addressing here are the ones that are a nuisance. They're no longer deserving of just a $25 ticket. But there are also a lot of violations that happen more like on a broad sense throughout a year of people who just, by accident, they they violate the ordinance and don't get the snow off in time, or, kind of accident, like you forget to move the car and it's $25 and it stings bad enough that you won't forget to move the car for like 5 years. And so I think we should have that $25 entry of a quick ticket, but then let's shorten the time. Let's have it 7 to 10 days for that first one, and then maybe the next one's the notice of violation and it's $50, 7 to 10 days until more of the teeth of this one in front of us kick in. Instead of having the 3 steps where it can drag on and on and on, just have 3, like the third step is the $500 fine, and whatever, like kind of the teeth that are written in this ordinance in front of us, let's put that into the quick ticket ordinance and change the,
So codify the process
right.
instead of, to make the process shorter.
Right.
Rather than getting rid of it and going to a straight up nuisance ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought this whole nuisance ordinance was the definition of nuisance. I thought he was going to redefine nuisance so that it could be used in every area, whether it's loud music, whether it's whatever. But this is more.
This doesn't even cover a lot of the things.
No, it doesn't.
And
I don't understand.
And
what
if
I'm
you,
saying.
and if anything that this would cover was addressed with the quick tickets, then you couldn't stand in court with this because you weren't following the quick ticket process that was outlined.
I specifically looked for a person who was here, I think they were on Fairview Street or something. And I specifically looked for that alarm that she was talking about. And the closest I came to was on page 6, number 8. And I wouldn't even put it in there. Maybe, 8A.
Yeah, the noise, allowed playing radio, television,
Yeah.
amplifiers or other
I
sound
didn't even
devices.
see that, at the intermittent thing maybe. And then another thing is the electric bike, I didn't see that anywhere, unless you would include on page 10, it talked about an electric scooter. I thought maybe that would be the electric bike.
Yeah, motorized scooter.
Yeah, and then I also questioned why we wouldn't want skateboarding in a park, really?
Liability.
Just people getting hurt? Because it seems to me like that would be the safe place for kids to skateboard, would be in a park.
Heather,
I think that was probably done because of destruction that was happening. I mean, that would be my thought when, you know, you have them,
We have sidewalks, I mean, there's,
right, but you have a number of people, they want to grind on the benches and this and that, and, you know.
The borough really doesn't have parks for
No,
skating.
we don't.
I mean, you could say like Gladfellows has the parking lot, but that's a private
yeah,
park.
there we go. And
Heather,
the school.
to date, how many people have actually paid a $500 quick ticket?
There's been a number of them,
Yes.
Actually paid them?
more than you would, yes.
That surprises me.
The incident that I talked about that took years, they went to the district justice and they probably, I want to say they paid upwards of $5,000 in fines. That, you know which one I'm talking about.
We just had someone
Wow.
2 weeks ago,
And
3 weeks
It
ago.
was to the point Judge Bixler said, well, look, the borough is going to keep bringing you here. Clean up your property.
Okay, and how long does it take if they just avoid you? You get the quick ticket and they just pay no attention. How long do they have from that time till they actually got the $500 fine?
Till they get
If they don't
$500.
appeal nothing and they don't,
Currently, the way it's set up, you're
Right.
talking 6 weeks, just with the quick tickets themselves. You send out a notice of violation, you give them another 2 weeks, so now you're talking 2 months, and they get the $500 fine, and then they have 30 days to pay that. It's goes on and on.
And at that point, then it goes over to district justice to be,
If it's not paid,
if it's not paid.
it goes
Right.
over to the
It goes
DJ's
over
office.
okay,
Then
and,
at that point, it's like a parking ticket or a speeding ticket or something.
yeah, and I'd like to back up a little bit to what Paula said. She's going to meet with the landlords. I remember back, we had some really boisterous meetings in here with landlords and tenants when they were changing the rules and everything, but you got a sense to find out what was going on. I would hope that you would have a public meeting so people could hear what these landlords, what their views are. And so we understood. I could be wrong on this, but my understanding, the last borough manager would meet with council one-on-one. I never agreed with that because he could tell this council person something, tell the next person something. I agree they should, if you do it in an executive session or however you do it, I'm just trying to refer back that this would be so great if it was a public meeting. We had special meetings just for that.
Yeah.
And you would come and you'd hear all their views then. And there's probably a lot of landlords that we think are good and the tenants could bring some of them things because they're afraid. They're afraid to bring it out because they're going to be put out. And that's my only reason I'm meeting with the landlords. I just like to see everybody. Thanks anyway.
Would it be safe to say, I should continue getting quick tickets? Ordered,
Yes.
ordered so we can.
So let's get us through until
Order-
it changes.
Order some so we don't fall up, we don't run out of those till we get all this resolved. And we'll order the smallest amount that
Yeah, I know.
that they allow, and then, we'll make whatever changes we need.
Everyone's
Because
just,
honestly, the amount that we have right now may or may not make it to the end of the year. I don't think we're gonna be able to get this resolved that quick to get it out.
Yeah, you told me last week, yeah.
So by doing that, then you'll keep the quick ticket system and then just, I can't find the right words, but work on it and just update it in little ways.
So what I was saying is that we don't have a large inventory of the actual tickets for us to
Right,
continue.
right, I understand that.
And it doesn't seem that we're going to get anything resolved quickly
Okay.
enough to do that, so I don't want to run out. where-
I understand that. But in the meantime, you're going to work on the quick ticket, the system that we have now, rather than go with this.
Whatever council decides and however we could just make changes later. So
The ticket has to match the process. So if we change the process, then we'll have the tickets.
Now, I wanted to, Mr. Patrick said that he mentioned the individual meetings, monthly meetings with council individually. I would just like to add that that did happen. I think it was a good thing. Those meetings were with the individual counselors based on their specific role, leadership role on council. When I met with Mark, I didn't talk about finance. I didn't talk about personnel, community development. We talked about things regarding public safety. And those were topics and concerns that these folks did not need to be a part of. And I didn't need to sit in the finance meetings, and I didn't need to sit in legislation meetings or public works meetings. But it was important that the council worked directly with staff leadership to guide, direct, and understand. So I would like to continue doing regular meetings with you, Manager Caulfield, if you'll have me.
absolutely, I think that's great for me too, because I don't always get to ask the questions that I need in the way council wants to direct me as well. So I like that.
I meet with the police chief. We try once a month. None of you are there.
I meet with the chief once a week.
My point is that I would like public meetings, so the public has the right to come and sit and listen and understand how the system is working. That's where your meeting is private. You took a safety meeting and you made it private. And I don't feel that's right, but I'm one person and I'm not going to fight it. That's just myself. But what I'm saying, Todd, though, is make it for the public. Public comes and just have that meeting that night. All of council's here. They all hear what they have to say. Some of the meetings got pretty hot that we had, but when it was all smoke cleared, you knew where some of the people was at, and you knew really had a better way of knowing where you were going.
So I do think I need to say this about, I wasn't here at the beginning when you guys were talking about this nuisance ordinance, but what we received right here, I think that a lot of money has been put into it, and I don't feel that we need to put any more into this to what we can do as a staff and as a council. I mean, we achieved an awful lot more right now than
Yes.
what is
did.
what is presented here. And honestly, we are paying an awful lot for attorney fees. So if there's a way we can limit that or keep that internally, maybe have the attorney review it.
Right, that's what we
to
talked
make
about.
sure we're not,
Just have a
we're not
legal review.
violating any laws or getting ourselves in any trouble. I have a lot of confidence in Paula, and she could have this done by the end of the week.
We'll give it the end of next week. We'll give it till next week.
More power to
I
you.
mean, I think the other part of it is the phone needs to be made to Jessica to stop whatever it is she's working on with this, because we're paying her an awful lot of money too on this, that.
I mean, I think that's how it should be, is that the ones who are in on all this
Yeah.
enforcement, all this quick ticket process and everything that's going on in the day in and day out should be involved in writing it.
Yes.
And then we go to the process of making sure if we take it to a court of law and get sued on it, that it'll stand. That's our counsel. But to have our solicitor actually writing this out, I would agree. I feel it's not a good use of our funds.
I mean, I think Mark was working on it a little bit, but then he was going, it fell to Evan because we were pushing to get it done and.
We've been, are you talking about the ordinance? We've been on this for 3+ years.
The nuisance ordinance.
Yes.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to sit there at the last HARB meeting. I know it has nothing to do with this. Heather, you was there, Mark, another code man, I don't know, and myself, and they opened it up. And that was a very, very good discussion. I learned so much at that meeting. There was things there that I didn't think they were attending to, but they brought issues up that I really, really appreciated that. And like this meeting, I learned a lot here that I wouldn't have knew, but you gotta get that conversation going.
So if council give me the authority to start working with our staff to try to get something with you, Eric, if I can work with you to try to come up with something that's a little bit more direct as to what we're trying to accomplish. At least we're not paying the attorney fees. We'll come back with as much of a good idea as we can. We'll do some research on different municipalities, but I mean, I just feel we need to step back from this because we keep going down this path. I don't think we're going to end up with what we really want anyway.
That's a question. Is the animal nuisance ordinance, is that something, a different section of the code? Or would that,
Yeah, I mean, just about everything has its own special section.
that would not be in
that's
this.
in there.
It
So
should
it
should
be.
be.
Should be.
okay,
Should be.
you're trying to combine all
So-
that together
So
into
so
one.
it seems
I
to me
can't
like
say
we're
it
just
should
trying
be.
to rewrite our entire ordinance, which is what I'm hearing. It was not what we were looking to do.
That's not even mentioned here.
He was supposed to do a nuisance, a definition of a nuisance, an all-encompassing definition. And and what I was led to believe was that the problem was taking so long was they had to go through all our ordinances and make sure their definition fit what the ordinance was for.
Right.
I come back and it's this now. And it's like, this is $20,000-$30,000 later.
So do you ask for a discount or a refund?
Or the attorney, I don't know.
You don't think it's resources well spent?
Yeah, we don't,
You
I
have the right
don't,
to appeal it, do you not?
I don't think anybody actually tracked the dollars. You can go back through and find it
Yeah.
They can itemize it for
because it is itemized. No,
you.
they
They
can.
can, they can go back and itemize.
But I don't think,
Well,
I don't
it's
think,
in the, it's in the check register.
right.
Whenever Evan submits a bill, it's all.
I see his
itemized.
bills, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's in your packet.
Well, I mean, I don't see it.
I'm just saying, we haven't tallied that total up. Because it just took forever.
The reality is there's only 3 pages of definitions that would take an afternoon to clarify those definitions through our other ordinances. So you can search it, copy and paste. But it has been, to play the other side of it, it has been a back burner project.
It has been.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you. 3 times now, we had people come in here complaining about rental properties, rollers. And not just noise, trash, whatever. And then we had some people complain about the properties themselves. And every time it was referred back to this nuisance ordinance.
Mhm.
And we kept, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And every monthly update we get from him, I'll have this for you next month. I'll have this for you next month.
I agree, but I don't think that was the truth.
Well, obviously, it's not the truth.
Well,
I think in reality, it was a back burner project for our solicitor in reality, but it wasn't, it should have been a front burner, but it's not to, I guess all that to say, it would be good for us to look in, can we find in the actual bills how much this ordinance cost us so far?
Yeah, we can, because it's all spelled out. I mean, every bill is itemized.
I don't think you want to.
And.
We need
no,
to.
I mean, I think what Peter's saying is, may not have been a true back burner issue, but it was that we had it there and then other things kept piling in front. So it kept getting pushed back, it kept getting pushed back, because you can only do so much, Unless we want to hire our own attorney to be here all the time.
Well, but I get what you're saying. My understanding was, and you can double check in the payment section, this went to paralegals at his firm. And they did all that. It wasn't Evan, so we weren't taking up all his time. But we were paying paralegals to go through all of
And
this.
not only the paralegals, but we were paying someone at CS Davidson as well.
Right.
Not to write this, but to be your meeting and everything else, right? I mean, Jessica spent a lot of time.
Helping to write this.
Yes.
I'm still of the opinion we have 3 BCOs, certified BCOs in our staff right now. Let them handle this. And
Fine with
then
it.
we'll have the attorneys review it when we're.
We have Jack for his side of it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, once we start getting into the streets and the different things, we're gonna look at that. But I think we need to simplify it and go back to what you said, Eric. Let's just define nuisance first.
Right.
Once we've got a definition of what we consider to be a nuisance, we can make our NOVs or our quick tickets or however we want to reference the nuisance portion.
Sounds good. Depends which week.
One other just quick note, we don't have a new finance manager starting tomorrow morning. So first thing we're gonna put her on is figuring out how much we pay for this nuisance.
No,
Yeah.
the first thing we're putting her on is the risk management, the audit we have to do.
Absolutely.
Because I do not want to have all those numbers myself. Because I'm not good enough with the ADP
Right.
reports yet to pull that information. We got an audit thing for unemployment compensation audit. And,
Workers' comp.
workers' compensation audit. And,
One thing more.
yes.
I'll tell you, what I see from sitting in the audience and what I observed a couple months back, I think Mark was here yet, which didn't matter, but you had brought up what is going on with the 2 properties on Front Street. The sewer plant and the one across the ways. Evans, the question was to Evans. Well, he gave you, I don't know what, I think a bunch of bull. Well, I think it was 2, 3 meetings later, Eric brought it up. Same thing, but you let him get away with that. You're paying this guy. Here's 2 issues that should have been resolved last year. You need to sit down and talk to your rookie lawyer to see what's going on. I mean, I see this from sitting here. You need to say, hey, here's what we want. We don't want your bull, That's what I think both of you has got. Well, the whole council. Sorry.
Yes. Put out an RFP. Put out an
It just makes
RFP.
sense. It should be, too, just not considered.
Yeah, you put out an RFP. Then
That'd be worth it.
You started out by saying there's the problem going out and what's costing us. Still,
So, can I answer Frank and what he was bringing up here with the 2 properties? I did have a conversation with Evan this week about moving forward, at least on the old fire hall. I presented a different approach to that for Evan. It was, I have a potential buyer. So,
we do have a buyer for it.
yes,
The problem is, it's already been transferred to the Columbia Economic Development Corporation.
Correct. So, but I wanted to push that to like either get this lease signed that you've been talking about, or let's sell this property, but we're gonna move it one way or the other. And if it was put into the economic development portion of it, and we said we have an additional buyer, that might spark somebody to say, we better buy this before it's bought from underneath us.
Second one.
Yes. Now, again, it's an exploratory thing. I told him that at the beginning, but we have different potentials that we might be able to do. And
So you.
Our whole goal,
Mm,
our goal in that property was to sell it anyways, so why pursue the lease? We don't want to be a landlord.
Because we're getting raped on the curtain.
Right. Why
They
push a
don't-
new lease? Let's just push the sale.
They don't wanna buy, the people that are in there now don't wanna buy because their current lease, they're getting for a steal.
Right.
absolutely.
And if they go to purchase it, the value is based on that current lease. And so we can't get what we want for it.
And the new lease, the old lease is expired. They're paying on a lease that isn't current, and the new lease was not accepted. So why don't we just withdraw the new
Right.
lease so we don't have to do
That's
anything
what
legal
I-
to get out of it?
Well,
and
that's
sell
what
it?
I asked that too. Why, if we don't have a lease, but apparently there was some clause that it was automatically renewed at the current terms. It was a bad lease from day one. And we lose money every month. But yeah, there was a clause that it automatically renewed.
I
But
didn't
I
know
don't
about
think
that.
that kicked in, at least according to Evan, but you know, and I
But
think
then
that-
if it didn't kick in, then like Peter said, we should be able to revoke the lease. We should be able to evict.
Which nothing personal against Evan, but this is where I'm feeling like I'm not really getting the correct legal things that we,
Yeah.
you know, I want an attorney that's coming in.
Contract, can we just get Jeff
This is where
Cyber
our
to give us a
situations
sign?
are, not, well, I'll look into it, because looking into it.
Get Jeff Cyber to give-
A lot of money.
And we don't get an
CEDC a
answer.
sign?
That is
You
correct.
just keep getting it around the table.
Yeah.
That is
And
correct.
there's no
Actually,
firm answers to anything.
It'd be a business.
It's certainly worth a worth a conversation with council.
Pick
that,
one
you
up,
know,
somebody
is-
else.
is-
Sorry, else.
you know,
Yeah, I know, it's just,
from-
I'll go out tonight.
Heather, you said that the firehouse was already transferred
Yes.
to
So we
the,
have the agreement with the
to the
CEDC.
EDC.
We didn't
But Evan-
officially transfer it to them yet. We have the agreement with them.
Evan told me that they didn't want to take it on before the deal with the wastewater treatment plant is finished.
Right.
But the wastewater plant, those people want to buy as soon as they can.
Right.
So when we agreed to all of this a year ago, we assumed it was going to be sold a year ago.
Right.
But we're still gonna be held up by Norfolk Southern.
We're held up.
We didn't know that we were being held up by Norfolk
Right.
Southern.
That's on their
And I think
terms.
we all know dealing with them, this could drag on for a long, long time. And if we can even sell one of the properties right now, I mean, our budget needs it.
So get get a meeting with CEDC and let them know that we need to find a different buyer and we need to get it done.
Because what you said, how much longer are we looking now to add to this?
I couldn't answer that, honestly. I really don't know. Coming into it here, it was my first conversation. I'm still trying to pull all the pieces together and see that.
Find another buyer.
To me, Frank, it's pretty simple from coming in from the backside. If you say that, hey, you've got a potential of another buyer, maybe somebody will stand up and say, well, I better buy it before somebody else does. And I think that's the pressure we need to put on there. So,
We're just not getting nowhere right here the way it is.
Frank, did you ever settle on your property?
Yes.
Okay. No, I just didn't know.
No, I signed the papers.
is that a house you can move, right? Is that a house you can put on it?
I know they, the short people told me that. I've been trying to clear it. The rain just knocked me off.
All right, anything else on the nuisance ordinance, or did we beat it to death?
It's been-
It's
It's done.
All right, Borough Council comments, Councilperson Bernard.
Yeah, hey, so, you'll remember the NISA letter?
Yes.
NISA, the EMS authority that
We didn't present it because Evan said we were waiting.
No, I was just going to update
Okay.
everybody.
And well, they don't know about the letter, is what I'm
Right.
saying.
Oh, you
No one
haven't heard?
knows about the letter,
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I
Why,
was,
why don't we know about the letter?
because I was told we are waiting until we have more information on it.
so should I not mention it?
So-
An update?
Well,
Two-
we've already talked about it, so.
Hold on a second now. This is confusing. Two council members have a letter addressing council, but the rest of the council doesn't know?
It was not addressing, it wasn't to council. It
Okay.
was to the borough.
Okay.
It was to the borough. And it basically from MISA, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sure, yeah. It's a EMS authority that was proposing to contract with municipalities. It's kind of like a membership offer thing. And some municipalities agreed to be a part of the authority, others didn't. We did not. We have a contract with Penn State Health, which we're happy with. MISA sent a letter stating that for assistance calls that they have to run within your municipality to cover for your preferred provider, they will be sending a bill to that municipality to cover that run.
That's wonderful.
We're not paying it.
No.
So the update was simply, I thought everybody was aware of it, was that, no, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So, yeah, we are not paying it. And that was just the update. Nothing has changed. That's what was discussed at our emergency management meeting, and that's what was decided upon, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're not the only municipality that got the letter. Pretty much the only municipalities that got the letter, they were ones that are serviced by Penn State. None of the ones got it, even though MISA runs, calls and runs his territory. Lenza didn't get the letter,
I didn't know
but Penn State did.
that.
I know that just from talking to other municipalities.
We have no actual invoices at this point. If it was an invoice, I'll be holding now.
No, yeah, they said beginning September 1st, they would be invoicing us monthly, so I was anticipating the first invoice to come in the next, but I don't know.
I don't think that has any teeth to it. I don't think they can enforce that. We will dispatch them. Dispatch dispatches them.
Right.
We have no choice of whether Penn State is here or not, or whether they come or not. That's not up to us.
And mutual aid is mutual aid,
That's how it works.
so.
Okay.
The question now, the questions are, with the Municipal Authorities Act, does that give them the ability to charge or not charge? And there's a lot of legal wrangling that's going on around it.
I think they're trying to create a precedent. But I don't
They
know-
are.
I don't know if it's going to work.
They are. I mean, we all know that EMS and fire should be a regional thing. It should not be all these individual things. All right. Anything else? Go ahead.
Text my dog.
That's my dog.
Good to see us working again.
Yeah, he's down briefly. Yeah, the other day. Eric?
I have nothing tonight.
I don't think I have anything either. Oh, don't forget, October 16th, 2 weeks from tomorrow, is the dedication for the Major General Edward C. Shannon Memorial Bridge being held in the lot behind Brookhampton.
Do you have a time or anything?
10 a.m. Rain or shine.
Is it, what day of the week is it?
It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning,
Okay.
so.
Burger King.
The lot behind Burger King, so that you can see the bridge from there. Yep. So if it's all big downpours or whatever, it's gonna be on the deck at the crossing, but otherwise, we're putting some easy ups up. And yesterday I was at training for returning poll worker training, Columbia. You know, it is a sad commentary on the state of our country when at poll worker training, we have to watch a 14-minute video on de-escalation procedures at the polls. That is a very sad commentary on our society. But anyway, there are no changes in polling locations proposed for Columbia Borough for the upcoming election. So as long as you did not move your residence in the last, since the primary, you will vote the same place you voted in the primary. All right, yes.
No, I there actually was an incident in the last presidential election at our polling place in our ward. So, well, I shouldn't use the term ward, I guess. It is. So, yeah, it might be a good idea to have that escalation training, because that was ugly and it was loud.
At 7 p.m. on Tuesday, October 8th, council will hold a regularly scheduled meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn? I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy, to adjourn at 8:46 p.m. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? We're adjourned.
No checks to sign, this is beautiful.
No checks